Chapter 6 The Deputy Procureur du Roi.
In one of the aristocratic mansions built by Puget in the Rue de Grandcour, opposite the Medusa Fountain, a second marriage feast was being celebrated almost at the same hour with the nuptial repast given by Dante. In this case, however, although the occasion of the entertainment was similar, the company was strikingly dissimilar. Instead of a rude mixture of sailors, soldiers, and those belonging to the humblest grade of life, the present assembly was composed of the very flower of Marseille society. Magistrates who had resigned their office during the usurper's reign, officers who had deserted from the imperial army and joined forces with the Conde, and younger members of families brought up to hate and execrate a man whom 5 years of exile would convert into a martyr, and 15 of restoration to elevate to the rank of a god. The guests were still at table, and the heated, energetic conversation passions that then agitated each dweller of the South, where, unhappily, for 5 centuries religious strife had long given increased bitterness to the violence of party feeling. The emperor, now king of the petty island of Elba, after having held sovereign sway over 1/2 of the world, counting as his subjects a small population of 5,000 or 6,000 souls, after having been accustomed to hear Vive Napoleon of 120 millions of human beings uttered in 10 different languages, was looked upon here as a ruined man, separated forever from any fresh connection with France or claim to her throne. Okay, that one really put my French pronunciation to the test, and luckily I have looked up a pronunciation guide of sorts for these sorts of things. Whether or not that is accurate, I don't know. But you know what? Let's just take a moment to pause and thank that I'm not doing all of this in a French accent like a lot of the audiobooks you listen to often do. I feel like that would, I don't have the talent for that. Let me put it that way. But sometimes that takes me out of it. Like, just read it as you would. You don't have to do the French accent thing. Like, I get it. It's like a lot of modern movies that, I don't know, like the most recent Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix. On some level, yeah, maybe a little absurd that, this is the French army and not a single person in the movie speaks with a French accent. But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but that's, not the movie you're making. This is an American production or, American-British co-finance production. Like, I don't know. It's on some level, at some point, it just stops making sense to try to do it all in French because it's just not the way the world works, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your worldview. Let's keep going. Here's a pull back behind the curtain for a moment. I am, you heard me yesterday on this show, ending chapter 5, and now we are starting here, chapter 6. For you, it's been a day. For me, it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks. A little weird, I know. A lot has happened to me in that time. Had a little kitty scare. Had to take her to the vet, but I'm not going to get into personal stuff. I think most importantly is in 2.5, 3 weeks, I've been doing a lot of Napoleonic research, and I guess it doesn't make sense to really bring it out too much here, although, it's starting to talk about Napoleon at the end there. But I think it's going to come into play more in the following passages, this chapter and next chapter, maybe, because this story apparently takes place in a very, very interesting little sliver of Napoleon's life and history and the Napoleonic era, I guess, as it's called. Right before the 100 Days. And maybe you knew that going into this. You're like, yeah, Count of Monte Cristo. That's a classic Napoleonic era story. Well, you know what? I didn't. So we're all learning together, okay? Quit judging me. Just kidding. I'm glad you're here. So this is interesting. We're at another wedding that's happening at the same time as Dante's. And we don't know whose it is yet. We were introduced to no characters in this passage, except to say that unlike Dante and his crew, this is the upper crust of Marseille, the elite, the social pinnacle, if you will. So curious who we're going to be introduced to in this and what part they're going to play in this whole conspiracy, this whole thing that's unfolding before our eyes. I guess we'll have to find out as we continue. I will see you here tomorrow for the continuation of Chapter 6 of The Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, bye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.